Hello, high school hockey fans. Welcome back to edition number two of This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey. I'm Mike Hammett. Let's go and say hello to the boys. Bill Jr., Burglar, and Dell. How you doing, fellas?
Well, second week of hockey for us on doing our podcast. So
Doing all right.
Yeah. You guys got any snow up there?
A little bit, but it'll be gone in 2 days.
Okay. Well, Bill Jr., Burglar, you guys went and seen the Northwest Iceman and DC Everest. And Dell will tell us about the icebergs in Cap City. So let's go ahead and start with the team Burglar and hear about that game. Iceman taking on DC Everest.
Sure, we definitely didn't have ulterior motives for covering that game. It was skate with the Evergreens night for Everest youth hockey that night. So my daughter Lorelai hijacked Everest captain Charlie Thompson for about 10 laps or 25 minutes around the ice before the game. That was pretty cool. He hung out with her the whole time and she chatted his ear off. Then the game got underway, and the first period was really good. Shots were even. Everest got one power play goal against the Northwest Icemen, who I did not realize have Iceman written 4 times on their jerseys. They've got it on the front, they've got it on the back, and they've got it on each shoulder. Burglar and I were discussing, and we think that might be a bit excessive. If they change the Iceman on the back to like, instead of player names, because they don't have player names, that's where one of the Icemen is written, like Ice Dude, Ice Guy, Ice Meister, different names for each of the players. They've got Iceman written too many times.
The Eisenheimer.
The captain could be Ice Meister. The coolest guy could be Ice Cube. One with the frizzies hair could be Ice T. They could have a lot of things with that.
They
then
could,
you have the ice flow.
yeah, they could have the ice flow for the guy with the best hair. First period, really good period of hockey. The second period, the wheels kind of fell off for the Icemen. They didn't come out with the same verve they had in the first period, and the Evergreens came out as hot as they'd been all season, according to Coach Dan Van Slyke. They just dominated the second period, scoring 5 goals in the period, and they added 4 more in the third to make it 10-0 after what was a very, very good one period of hockey. Coach Van Slyke said that those 2 periods were better than any of the 7 previous periods, the first period and the first 2 games of the season they had of that season of the season energy wise. They really took it to him, and for his part, Coach Enquist of the Icemen said that really they're an underclassmen heavy team, and it just kind of shows their underclassmen what it takes to compete at the varsity level. Right there with him in the first period, but then they let up after that first intermission and really got it taken to them. So that's all there was in that one. DC Everest took a 10-0 win. 2 players on the Evergreens ended up with hat tricks in that one. And then we'll go over to Dell for the girls' side.
Thank you. I made the trip down to the ice pond at Wanakee to watch the Icebergs play the Cap City Cougars, and got there, and I didn't see the jerseys that I expected to see the Cougars wearing, and saw that they were actually having a cancer awareness game night. So it actually worked out 2 ways, with it being the game of the weekend, a little recognition for their cancer awareness game. And this was a game that was dominated by Cap City. They basically outshot the Icebergs throughout the game 83-10. But even with that, they, at the end of the first period, it was a 1-0 game. And that was off of a power play goal. And then the second period, they scored 2 even strength and 2 shorthanded goals, and followed by another even strength goal in the third period to go on to their 6-0 win. The one thing that with the shots being like that, 90% of the game was played in the offensive zone for the Cougars. But the Icebergs battled the whole game. It's not like they quit skating or anything else. They just had a hard time trying to clear the puck out of the zone. But you know, it was a good game to watch when you knew what it was for. But at the same time, you kind of felt bad for the Icebergs not being able to clear it out. And it's early in the season. Only the third game for the Icebergs, and I think it was probably like the fourth or fifth for Cap City. The Icebergs' first two games of the season were against the Warbirds, and so they opened up with some tough games to open their season, and I'm sure they'll improve as the year goes on. And with that, I'm going to toss it back on over to MJ.
All right, thanks, Dell. I'm peeking in at the Icebergs tonight playing the Rock County Fury down in Beloit, and still not having much luck. Beloit's Rock County has a 7-0 lead, so they got an early touchdown, and so far they've kind of cruised with it. So keep working. Our Best Western Premier Park Hotel Players of the Week. Let's be proper about it. Who wants to take this one?
I've got that, MJ. Our Best Western Premier Park Hotel Player of the Week on the boys' side is Henry Vick, the goalie for Beaver Dam. His first action this season, he took over one shot into the third period against Marquette. Beaver Dam was already down 6-1 at that point. He stopped the six shots he saw in that game, and then he started 2 games after that. In the first, on the 25th, he stopped 30 of 31 in a 4-0 win over McFarland. And then on the 30th, he stopped 41 of 42 in a 5-1 win over Wanakee. So for his total in 2+ games, he has 77 saves and 2 goals against. Also nominated for the boys were Drew Sparacino of Brookfield, the defenseman, and Mason Kelm of the Avalanche Co-op, a goalie. And our girls' Best Western Premier Park Player of the Week is Emma Kligora of Rock County. If I remember correctly, she was nominated every week last season. If not, that's what it felt like. On the 18th, she had 2 goals and 2 assists in a 7-4 loss to the Fox City Stars. 24th, she had 2 goals and an assist in a 3-0 win over Brookfield. Again, on the 24th, she had 2 goals in a 3-2 win over Arrowhead. On the 25th, that's 3 games in 2 days. She had a goal and an assist in a 5-1 loss to Lakeshore. And then on December 2nd, she had 3 goals and an assist in a 5-0 win over Viroqua. So for the season, she has 10 goals and 4 assists for 14 points on a team that has scored 16 goals. So the Rock County Fury have scored 2 goals that Emma Kligora did not have a hand in so far this season. And that's our Players of the Week.
Players of the Week. To have your hand in 14 of the 16 goals, they're going to be leaning on her a lot this year for where they want to go. And at this point, I'd say Emma's up to the challenge.
Hopefully, they get some help. It's going to be it's tough to go very far when one player is scoring 95% of your points.
Yeah, they have I believe they have a small senior class, so a little bit probably underclassmen heavy. Hey, those top 10s, Junior, they're coming next week. I've kind of been sniffing around looking at scores and stuff, and boy, honestly, I don't really see anybody who's a standout team at this point yet in the season. I mean, last year, you knew Notre Dame was going to be, a number 1 team, probably most, if not all, the year, which they were. But I don't see that this year.
Well, there's a reason that we don't start doing top 10s until the second week in December. We give it some time to breathe. I mean, I would have said Eau Claire Memorial was looking pretty strong, but they lost 1-0 to River Falls.
Yeah, I did see that. And
They did outshoot
I,
them 39-18. But you got to put the puck in the back of the net if you want to win.
I I was kind of thinking the same thing, and then I saw that 1-0 score. I'm like, oh, okay. Um, Upcoming games of the week. Tomorrow night, I'll be here in town to see the Janesville Bluebirds kit play KMMO. Um, I'll have that one. I'll take care of pictures and write ups. And Thursday, Badger Lightning. Dell's this one you're going to?
Yep, I'm going to go over there and catch the Rock County Fury against the Badger Lightning in a Badger Conference game. Uh, Badger Lightning currently are sitting with a 1-3 record, uh, while Rock County sitting at 3-2. Probably be sitting at 4-2 going into that game on Thursday night. So it's a fairly close game, so I don't have to travel very far to get to it. But I will be having to get there right from a county meeting that night. So enough to keep me busy.
I was looking through the Wanakee page on the site, and I believe he played at Mosinee. Chase Drake, Bill Jr. Do you remember Chase Drake?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I do. Like Mosinee went to state his senior year.
Had Ethan Nauman on his team, I think. Um, yeah, Chase Drake's the head coach at Wanakee now. Um, Final thoughts. I want to throw something out here for you guys. Junior, you sent out a message today about the IIHF, um, talking about making neck guards mandatory.
Well, they're not just talking about it; they're doing it.
Yeah, right. I just kind of wonder here at the high school level here in Wisconsin, with the unfortunate happening to the player who was playing in the league in England, um, how do kids even or parents even start to think about um, saying, "Hey, I want you to wear this"?
Well, yes and no. I coach 8Us, and there are 68, I think, in Everest Youth Hockey this year. I could probably count on one hand how many of them wear a net guard every day. I
Oh
mean, I
boy,
don't. It's hard to see kids under their helmet with shoulder pads on and stuff, so you can't always tell. But I don't see a lot of net guards.
well, you see the guys who as they grow and mature, their neck probably becomes a little bit more exposed. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't come up before. You
Well,
Every once in a while you hear about somebody getting seriously cut.
you do hear
Um,
about. USA Hockey has stressed for many years that people should be wearing cut protective equipment, and that's not just on the neck. The base layer that most people wear, at least competitive hockey players wear under their gear, has some cut resistance to it in the wrist area, in the leg area, those parts that could be exposed. Most hockey socks are at least semi-cut resistant now, to stop from a serious injury. They won't actually stop you from getting cut, but they'll stop you from getting, cut deeply. Whereas, the net guards will stop you from being cut at all, or at least redirect the cut away from the serious veins in your neck, up into the more fleshy bits. But it becomes a thing every time it happens. What happened to Adam Johnson over in England, and every time it happens, it becomes a discussion, and then it doesn't happen for a year or two, and the discussion dies down, and then it'll happen again, and the discussion will pick back up. Um,
you
but
know, it's a
until USA Hockey makes it mandatory, it's not going to become a thing. And at the high school level, that wouldn't matter. The NFHS or the WIAA would have to do it for Wisconsin.
but you don't think many kids at the high school level have thought, you know what, maybe I should wear one of these, just to be safe.
They might think it, but most kids at the high school level don't wear their helmets properly. You watch enough high school games, how many kids have their face mask positioned so that it sits like a full 2 inches off their chin, sticking out, and that chin guard is supposed to be on your chin. That's not
Right.
just for fun. That's actually part of concussion prevention. The mask is supposed to fit properly in a certain way. How many kids actually wear their helmets properly? It's the minority.
Well, I mean, let's just look at the mouth guard situation. How many of the kids are actually wearing the mouth had the mouth guards the way they're supposed to? Half of them have it half out of their mouth and everything else. And mouth guards are one of the things that, if it's worn properly, is supposed to help against concussions too, because of that.
Yep. And I think most people just think that's there for your teeth. And why do I need it for my teeth? I got this mask in my face. But the mouth guard has more than just your teeth. It is another concussion prevention measure by holding your jaw in place. So, I mean, there are obvious things that people ignore now in the name of safety because they're like, that's a problem for somebody else. Or, in the case of some kids, it's sure like I'm tough, I don't need it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's in some people's minds, but it's not something they think about that often. And the number of players who get their next cut, because at any level that it happens, it becomes news. You hear about it. It doesn't happen that often, so people don't think about it as an immediate need.
Well, the other thing is I don't expect a high school player to be thinking about it, because high school 20-year-olds, they're indestructible. Just ask them. Yeah, I mean, that's the way, that's the way we all were at that age. So,
Yep. Like even in our men's group, I have a neck protector built into the base layer shirt I wear under my equipment. Off the top of my head, I think I can only think of one other player who wears neck protection on the ice.
Have you always worn one, Junior?
No, I bought a new the base layer shirt I'm wearing now is 2 years old because I only skate with it once a week, so it lasts a while. I replaced the one I had before, which didn't have neck protection built in. When I bought a new one, to be perfectly honest, I was shopping for them. I grabbed one that was on closeout and in my size, and it had the neck protector built in. It's not something I thought about.
And Dell brought up the point about mouth guards. Yeah, some of those mouth guards on kids can look pretty ratty after hanging out of their mouth, and it still disgusts me when it falls out on the ice and they throw it right back in their mouth. It just
I mean, Bergler pointed out, I think it was during Thanksgiving, the Packer game with the Lions. Was it one of the Lions player who had his mouth guard stuck in the hole in the top of his helmet?
you could watch every offensive play on the NFL, and half the receivers do not have the mouth guard in. It's hanging out to the side and stuff. So
I mean, people already don't wear the protective equipment they're supposed to. The nice thing about a neck protector, if it's mandated, is it's really hard not to wear it properly. It's either on or it's not. It's not like a mouth guard where you can hold it in the side of your mouth.
they yeah, the mouth guard thing is important. And you ever chipped a tooth? It's very uncomfortable when you do it. So, keep those things in your mouth. Who wants to take another thought or leave one?
I believe we got the first email of the season this week on the Hobie Baker High School Character Awards.
yes, we did.
So those have been sent out to coaches. We'll get it posted on the site here in the next couple of days. Obviously, it gets sent to the coaches anyway, so it's not a super high priority to get the thing up on the website, but we'll get it up there as soon as we get around to it. But that's out there for coaches. once again, we're aiming. Wisconsin is typically one of the higher, if not the highest, in the country every year, but we're always aiming for 100%. And um, if your team doesn't have a senior who's not an asshat, you got to ask yourself what you're doing. And if your team has a senior who's not an asshat, submit the nomination. It's not that hard. These are good kids. They're playing hockey, generally speaking. Kids who compete in extracurricular or do extracurricular activities, not necessarily compete in, are, upstanding members of the high school community. And those that are should be recognized as such. So if you're a coach, send in your nomination.
And then as far as things being sent in, I'd like to say thank you to the coaches and that did send in their holiday tournament things. We do have a page up. I think we got like 6 or 7 tournaments listed on there right now and stuff. So if your team's not is in a tournament and that's not in our article, please get it to us and we'll get it added to it.
Burglar's been pretty quiet tonight. Usually he's got something to say.
Yeah, Virgo's got bronchitis, so I just been on mute
Aye.
the whole time. So
Okay. All right, we'll leave you alone.
He got himself sick on his trip to Somerset and Eau Claire, and then he started feeling better, and we got him sick all over again by making him go to Everest and watch Lorelei skate around for 90 minutes before a hockey game, and he's still there.
It wasn't the Patron.
No.
Dell, anything you want to finish up with?
No, I'm good to go.
Okay, well, I'll guess I'll go ahead and take it home. For the Berg fellas and Dell Scanlon, I'm Mike Hammett. Next week, we'll be back with the first top 5 of the season. We'll have it right here on This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey.
Top 6.